Hello and welcome to Skills to Pay the Bills. I'm Tia Young, your host, along with my co-host Shirley Luu, who is also the host of the popular show, The Real Secrets of Money. Our topic today is on why 4 retired military officers have decided to become professional life and retirement strategy professionals. We have a lot of brass in the studio today with several branches of the military represented. And guess what? They all get along real well. Since I don't want to get anybody's title wrong, I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So please join me in welcoming representatives from our nation's elite military. Gentlemen, welcome to Skills to Pay the Bills.
Thank you for having us.
How are you today?
Great. How are you?
Good, good. Well, we're going to get started. Shirley, I'm going to start with you. I understand that you have now recruited retired military officers representing the Air Force, the Army, and the Navy to your team.
Plus the Marine.
Oh, you have a Marine?
That is correct. And
Okay.
the Marine could not make it here today.
He can make it, so that's all 4 branches.
That is correct. And believe me, they're not easy to recruit.
This is amazing. Tell us a little bit about how you were able to accomplish that.
Well, you know, one of the things that I felt really strongly was that, you know, as we're going out there educating the consumer about how to save for retirement and have lifetime income, all those things so important. But then I realized, well, what about the military? Who is talking to them about that? You know, it's not just about death benefit and other stuff, but it has to do with living benefits. And the only way I know that can get the message across is getting military to talk to military. They understand each other, the trust is there, and they know the language much better. So I figured, well, why not? Let me try it out and see what happened. And sure enough, the bet's paid off. And I tell you, I love these guys. They are
I bet they're keeping you straight.
You know what? They're on time, they're straight, and they keep me very focused.
Very good. Well, you know, the one thing that I'm curious about, I've always wondered about this, are all the benefits for the military the same or are they different?
You know what? I looked, and it's surprisingly, they are all the same, pretty much the same. Not getting the education is all the same as well too. You know,
Really?
whether getting educated, not educated. And I found it was the same kind of things that's happening in the military. So therefore, definitely I felt that very strongly on the financial education piece of it was a really, really important factor to be able to get this message out. And again, like I said, the only way I know can do this is because, you know, those military guy knows what rules, protocols to go
Right. through.
I don't know the stuff, and to be honest with you, I mean, even the title, what level ranking they goes through and all that, I mean, it's so new to me.
But their life insurance and their health benefits and retirement packages are all the same.
Yes,
Is
that's
that
correct.
right? Okay,
Yes,
good. Well, let's meet some of this brass. We're going to start with Mr. Parker here. Mr. Cooper.
This is Mr. Parker. I'm James Cooper.
I'm getting you mixed up. Okay. You're Mr. Cooper.
Yes, James Cooper, and I was in the Air Force many moons ago. And then after getting out of the Air Force, I continued to work with the Air Force for over 10 years before getting into the financial services industry.
And what made you decide to do financial service? Was it Shirley's twisting your arm or?
I did get ambushed by Shirley. But, it had been a passion of mine for a number of years because one of the things that is so true is that the military does so many things so well. They help instill discipline and regimentation, and they help you understand to be more important than just yourself. It's about the unit and about the mission. But at the end of the day, they really don't do a good job of helping you understand how to adapt and adjust back to a civilian world and how to survive financially. That's something that's we hope we can bring to them, to our friends in the military and our brothers and sisters as veterans as we go forward.
Okay, very good. And let's see if I got this right. Russell Parker.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, okay, let's hear from you.
Yeah, I'm retired military from the Army, a retired Sergeant Major. And as James here said, I met Shirley, and it was kind of one of those things that I told her I'd give her an hour of my time. And at that time, I got up and walked away, and the next 2 days later, I joined her, you know, and I haven't looked back and turned down a couple jobs, you know, high-paying jobs to do this. My wife was kind of like, "You did what?" But she's on board with me now, so
Yes.
I'm very happy.
That's
Been
good.
the happiest I've been since I retired from the military, and that's 96.
Well, you said something that's very important, and that's that families are in agreement. And so, what about your lovely wife?
So after Shirley ambushed me, the first thing I did, because I realized happy wife, happy life,
Right.
is to recruit my wife to the team. So my wife, Regina, is also part of Shirley's team, and she's a valuable member, and she brings a perspective with her financial background where we can have conversations as husband and wife, sitting at the dining room table with husbands and wives, and sharing with them our story, mine from a military perspective, and hers from a perspective of here's the X's and O's of how you have to financially plan for your future.
Well, let me see if I've gotten this right. You guys just got on board a couple of months. You mean you've taken your test, passed your test, and you're already recruiting? Talk about that a little bit, Shirley, because I would think that maybe it would take 6 months to get all that done.
Well, like I said, the discipline. When they come in here, they said, okay, what's the process? Step one, step two, show me how to do this.
Okay,
They don't
okay.
waste time. They don't believe wasting time. They don't believe wasting days. As a matter of fact, James and his wife, Regina, are probably very humble in what they do. Besides this, they're also authors, public speaker, written books, and his
okay,
wife, Regina Cooper, just recently got a book published as well, and of course, James has books. So, the kind of talent that we bring in here is very admirable, with the way these guys came on board. And again, I think it's all a matter of being disciplined, wanting what do they need to do. And since they came in here, and I'm really proud of them, because they're reaching out to the community and they're reaching out to folks, the families that don't know about this product, and even their own self.
Right. Well, how have you been able to incorporate some of your military training into this second career?
For me, it's about something that Shirley alluded to about structure and about one of the things the military does a very good job of is communicating what your goals and your mission are. And so that's what we've done is we've gone out and recruited and reached out to other people. We want to help them understand here's who we are, here's what we represent, and here's the mission that we have. We have a mission to save the middle class, to help them achieve what others thought was impossible, a chance to have a successful, wealthy retirement. And so we take that military training, where you have your standard operating procedures, where you have your communication plans, how you're going to communicate to the individual, to the group, and to the organization, and we just continue to execute on those.
Wow. What about you, Russell?
Yeah, as James said, once we give a target to what we're supposed to be doing, we march out and we keep on going. We don't let nothing get in our way, and we get the job done. And we bring everybody along with us when we're doing this. And no matter in Shirley's team, no matter if someone else is under, James and I'm there and they need help, I help them.
Right.
He'll do the same thing for me. And so we're a great big team, but besides being a team, we're a family.
And you know what, Tia, one thing I can add about these guys, they are my biggest protector. They
In what way?
They protect me in every way. If anyone cross my path and say the wrong thing about me, you have to deal with them first.
So instead of packing a gun, you're packing the military.
Yeah.
That is correct. But besides that, in every aspect of it, they look out for each other, and they look out for me, and they look out for everything. They look out for the clients, they look out for the business. So it's really refreshing for the first time that I've seen in a business where we cohesively as a family.
Right. Yeah. Well, I know that there are many, many products in the financial services arena. So have you been in it long enough to figure out, whether you're just going to go for it all, or if you're going to specialize in a particular area?
So for me, what we're specializing in is the family retirement with the IUL or Index Universal Life products. So we like to talk to families about how you can take a certain amount of cash each month that you're already utilizing in other areas, and you can put that money to work for you. And in doing that, what you're doing is you're banking your tomorrow so that you can have a tax-free retirement. Okay. So that's what we work on, and we do classes. We actually, Regina and I, we are so committed to this that we've opened up an office up in Towson, Maryland, and we are starting to have courses and classes weekly, sitting down with families and helping them understand here's how you can take what was a situation that's hopeless. As a man, you lay awake at night saying, how am I going to provide for my family? What's retirement look like? You know, that dollar that I had 10 years ago doesn't go as far as it did today. What are we going to do? And we have an answer for them. And so we are focused in that area where we can help them with these products, and it has living benefits that also you don't have to, as Shirley alluded to earlier, you don't have to wait until an unfortunate situation where a family member is lost to reap benefits. You can have those benefits while you're living and when you need them.
Right. And Russell, what about you? Are you going to specialize, or are you going to go for the
No,
whole
I'm looking
enchilada?
at the annuities, from the 401ks and the 403bs and the TSPs. With my wife and stuff, we just rolled over some of our stuff into an annuity for ourselves, gives us lifetime income when we start to pull it out. And those type of things where, you know, a lot of people, they think that they can't save money. But, you know, if you save $100 a month and you put that in there every month, okay, they'll be amazed at what they will have by the time they get ready to retire. And, you know, it's our job, and more, not a job, but I feel it's my obligation to try to tell everybody that and let them see that product and how it can help them. And then they can make the decision, because I'm not a salesman, by no means. I will not sell, won't go to door to door
So
or
you're
anything
not
like that.
approaching this as a salesperson?
I am not a salesman whatsoever. I will show them how they can financially help themselves, and they can look at their plan, they can look at my plan. Whichever one they like the best, they make the option of which one they want.
Okay, all right. So we have about a minute left. Just real quickly, have you had good reception? I mean, have people been receptive to what you are trying to educate them on?
Yes, and that's the key, it's education.
Yes. I mean, everybody, no one has really said, no, I think that's stupid or anything like that.
Right.
You know, they're all, yeah, can you tell me more about it?
Yeah. And then I think with Russell, was really important to him and his wife was having that guaranteed lifetime income.
Yes.
You know, and also having money in case if they ever, when they get older, if they get sick and go into a long-term care situation where the
Right.
money could double up.
Right.
And these are kind of education that no one's talking to anybody out there today.
Right,
You know?
and right before we go to the break, I just wanted to point out how I think it's great that you guys have the product yourself. Many people that are out there, agents that are out there, they're telling people about stuff that they don't have.
Well, you
So
can't,
you have it yourself.
you can't honestly sit across from a table and talk to a couple, and then as soon as one of them asks you, well, sir, do you have the product?
Right,
No.
and go silent.
Then why are you trying to sell me a product?
Right, that's right. We're going to take a short station break, and we'll return with two new special retired military guests of honor and co-host Shirley Luu. So don't touch that dial.
Join our mission to proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ. Every week we feature a medley of gifts from artists, performers, ministers, and more. Experience the Lord's everlasting light in the cool of the day.
Welcome back. You're watching Skills to Pay the Bills with co-host Shirley Luu and two brand new retired military officers. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you today?
Fine, thank you.
Very
Fine, thank
good.
you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here. So we're going to pick up where we left off, and we're going to introduce you. I'm going to ask that you introduce yourselves, and we will start with Eric.
Yes. Well, my name is Eric Kaziski, and I'm a retired Navy commander, retired after 20 years.
And what made you decide to become a professional financial services?
Sure, that's a great question. After I retired from the Navy, I joined a defense contractor. I served with that defense contractor for a decade. But after 10 years with the same company, the job started to get stale. I was doing the same thing. And I started to question whether or not I wanted to do this for the rest of my professional career. A friend recommended to me to go to a job fair, which I did. And so I'm at the job fair. I'm handing my resume to several vendors. And quite frankly, I got bored.
Yes.
So as I was leaving, I noticed Shirley in front of the First Financial Security table. And my first question was, what is she doing here? And I just felt that on my way out, I would just say hello before I left.
Well, I felt sad for me.
It felt sad for you.
I said hello, and I remember distinctly, I said to Shirley, I know I don't have the skill set you're looking for. Well, in typical Shirley fashion, she says, let me see your resume. And she looked at it and she said, well, you have leadership, you have team building. I think you have the skill set that would work well with my organization. So she invited me to join her the next day, which I did. I spent the entire day with her. I was just astonished how she was helping people with the products. Many people coming in, and by the end of the afternoon, I was just so shocked. I said to Shirley, I'm quitting my job and joining your team.
Just like that?
Just like that. It really
amazing.
wasn't hard. It really wasn't a hard decision to make.
Wow.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
Joseph, what about you?
Well, I was in the military for 21 years in the Air Force. Started off enlisted and ended up becoming commissioned and so on. And I was in the I was a computer officer, and I was involved very much in developing software for the government. And what ended up happening is I was assigned to an interesting project, but I was also hot for an assignment overseas. So when I retired, I ended up going to work for a government contractor, and I worked for them for 17 years. And recently, because of the budgetary problems, they de-scoped the contract, and I was one of the people who was pushed out of the whole thing.
Yes.
So I was also at a job fair, and I had a list of different companies I was going to check out, and First Financial Security was not on that list.
It was not on the
It
list.
was not on that list, and I was walking past to the last person on my list who I wanted to talk to, and Shirley grabbed me and says, "That's an interesting hat you're wearing." I said, I was kind of put off, a little shocked by this. So we ended up striking up a conversation, and she said, "Well, why don't you come in tomorrow if I have an interest in you, and why don't you come in tomorrow and see what I need, the opportunities I have that I can present to you?" And I said, "Well, I'm not really busy tomorrow, so sure, I'll show up." And so I showed up at the office, and she showed me something, and I had had insurance ever since I was 18 years old. And this was a new set of products. And I said to myself, I wish I had signed up for this when I was 17. I'd be a millionaire by now.
Wow. So she was able to convince you in just a short period of time.
It was a great product, and it was something that everybody should have something like this. And unfortunately, there's so many people who just are ignorant about the possibilities that are out there. I mean, this is a relatively new product, and what really annoyed me was the company that I've been doing business with had a product like this, but they never contacted me to say, "Oh, by the way, we also have this product. Why don't you look it over?"
Right.
I have their other products, but they didn't bother to take their time to show me this product.
Wow.
Which was really annoyed me. So I went back and home and I did some look up of things on the internet. I looked up FFS and I said, is this really a scam? Is this really true?
Yes.
And all the things as well. And I said, this is something that I would like to tell other people about, because if I had this opportunity to go back and relive my life, to be able to select a product like this and let other people know about it, I would be a much happier person.
Yes. Well, I have a really, really important question to ask you. What kind of hat did you have on?
You know those golf hats, the flat ones? Yeah, that's what I had on.
Oh, okay.
But I guess
was
not
it
very
a
many
loud
people
color
were.
or like a chartreuse or something?
It was plaid.
What it was is nobody at the job fair had a hat. He was the only one. Okay. So I had to acknowledge that the hat. It was neat, the golf hat.
Well, Shirley, you've been kind of hiding out on me about the job fairs. Was it the same job fairs that you recruited?
No,
so
no,
two different job fairs. So
fairs.
tell me about the job fair thing. What are you doing
well,
with that?
I wanted high quality individual, and again, like I said, I felt really strongly to get into the military base. The only one I figured I could do those is a top secret job fair, at least where these guys are.
Right.
But I also know that it was extremely tough. I'd be lucky if I could get 3%. Be able to sit and talk to me, but even 3%, that's a really, really high value in what I could gain in return, and it's been surely definitely a payoff.
Right, that's good.
So.
Well, I'm going to ask you guys the same questions that I asked the gentlemen that were on the first half of the show, and that is, how has your military career, how can you parlay what you've learned in that into this new career?
Well, I agree with everything that our colleagues talked about earlier, so I would just like to add to what they said.
Sure.
You know, the military has to be a team, and we have to pull together. And so it's very important that we look out for each other. And now that we're in a different industry, financial services, we can still look out for each other. Whether you're a brand new recruit or a retiree, there are valuable, important products that they need. And we really feel that we need to be the ones to convey that story to them, because you don't get it anywhere else. When I joined, I didn't know much about life insurance. I knew that I could be going into hazardous situations, and when someone said you needed to at least have a death benefit, I understood that. And so I took basically the only product that was offered, which is the Servicemen's Group Life Insurance, which is nothing more than a renewable term. I didn't know anything at that young stage in my career that if I had gone with Shirley's products, today I would have income for life that could basically allow me to retire today.
Wow.
We have to get that message out to the active duty military, and also it's not too late for the retirees.
Okay.
So I think that's where our really most important is, that we need to continue to be a one family, retirees in other professions as well as active duty, and work together.
Okay, very good.
Well, I'm, I guess one of Shirley's newest members of her team. I've had my license less than a month. So
Okay.
I'm still getting on board with learning the various tasks and getting appointed with the various insurance carriers. But I can definitely see there's a lot of things in my background that I can use in this business as well. You know, everything from some of my management skills that I've picked up over the years, my presentation skills. You know, as a military member, I've had to brief a large number of people. I've had to do also training, military training, and I can see a lot of this being very transferable into the tasks that Shirley's business does and this insurance business does. I think a lot of insurance, the information about insurance is really educational rather than being selling. You know, I didn't ever want to be a salesperson. I'm not really oriented to doing that, but I'm definitely more fascinated with the educational aspect of this whole thing. If I can show someone things that will help them in their life, you know, that is something I really want to do. I want to help people. Right. I've always been a patriot, and I've always, well, it's one of the reasons I ended up joining the military, is I wanted to do this. I wanted to help my country and so on. And I can definitely see where this will help all the people I can come in contact with who need this type of assistance. As a member of the military, they don't really teach you the things you need in order to be secure for the rest of your life. You know, they're focused on their mission, which is to defend the United States.
Right.
They don't have the time to spare to say, this is how you can prepare yourself so that for your life after the military. And this is one of the things I think that's really necessary to educate these young soldiers about now, is so that they can have a life after the military when they get into their second and third careers.
Right. Well, I have another question, and this question I didn't get a chance to ask the guys before, but I want to make sure that I get this out here. I worked in the government over 30 years between congressional service and Department of Agriculture service. And when I left, I was given a retirement folder, a big package that big, and a hug. I had no idea what I had in that retirement package. And truthfully, I made a lot of dumb mistakes because I didn't know what I didn't know.
So you're in the club.
Please, I was going to say, please tell me that has changed, that when you guys left, you had somebody sit down and really go over your package with you.
Well, if I can answer first, you're lucky I didn't even get a hug.
Oh. I'm sorry.
No, when you transition, basically in the benefits area, two things happen. They tell you that you can convert your renewable term to a veteran's renewable term. And the second thing they do is they inform you that your retirement can also have a survivor benefit option, which means that your surviving spouse can get a percentage of your retirement. And that was pretty much
That was it. That was
so if there's anything that we can do to change that,
that would be good.
yes,
Yeah, that would be
to inform the veterans. And in fact, one of the reasons I think why Shirley's bringing us on board is at least to some degree we can change that. We can reach out to organizations during transition assistance or during, you know, we're involved in the Wounded Warrior program and
Right.
Warriors to Work and programs like that. And we're open to any program where we can continue to help our veterans so that they don't feel they're out in the cold, you know, once they hang up their uniform and put on a suit.
We've got less than a minute, so I want to get you in here.
Well, basically, it was somewhat a similar experience. Basically, we had a half-hour course, which is at the beginning when it first came on, which is basically how to fill out the form. And at the end of my career, we had a half a day transition assistance class, and it was basically it was just one of a laundry list of things that needed to be done.
Okay, but no details.
Very few. Very
Well,
few.
I want to thank you, Shirley, and our retired military officers for this very enlightening and informative interview. I'm sure that our viewers, along with all of the FPA family, thank you for your great and courageous service to our country. Everyone, please have a safe weekend, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.